Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for your support of Indie Agency News. And let's meet an indie agency. Where are we going today, by the way, Gabe? Where are you these days?
I'm in Venice Beach.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Best dessert on the planet is a Jelena.
It is very good. It is very good. But
You
there's
know what
tons of
dessert?
it.
You know what dessert I'm talking about, don't you?
Well, what are you talking about?
You just guess. It's the best dessert on the planet.
It's the brownie, right?
No.
No.
You can get it. No. There is one thing on that menu that stands head and shoulders above everything else in the world. Not quite that heavy.
Well,
It's-
honestly, my go-to
it's
is
the
the mushroom
butterscotch.
toast.
Okay, well,
Oh,
it's the butterscotch dessert.
Yeah. I usually just get a second helping of the mushroom toast,
Mushroom
and
toast is
and some more wine to go with it. But
yeah. I mean, it's all incredible. So you got the mushroom toast, and then I mean, I don't want to make this a Jelena ad, but there you go.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of good food.
A lot of good food.
You got like all that on, what is it, Abbott Kinney? That whole
Yep.
stretch is
Yep.
really, really good.
And we're right on Abbott Kinney, so
Okay. All right, good. Well, that means we're going to have an event at your place.
anytime you want. Anytime you want.
I love
I
it.
mean, Air One's pretty much our cafeteria, so.
Okay. All right.
There you go.
I love an Erewhon cafeteria.
$18 strawberries on me.
Right. You have to pay $30 just to look at things.
Exactly.
Well, first of all, thank you for joining. Thank you for being members and supporting the mission. As you know, we're very mission based. And
Of course.
I loved that you came in because you have a very specific cut of the jib. You have very strong points of view about things, which we absolutely love. But what I want to get to first, so people can get to know you, is a little bit of background on the agency and what you'd say the agency is best known for.
Absolutely. The short story is my partner and I both started our careers at William Morris, representing brands, putting them in entertainment. So that was partnering with celebrities, that was, developing TV shows or movies or integrating them into existing ones. So we left 13 years ago. We just turned 13. And that was coincidentally when YouTube was really being taken seriously. And we saw this fantastic opportunity of, hey, we can create amazing, brand storytelling. We don't have to deal with network executives or studio executives. And there was this amazing talent class that was, not just an actor, director, or writer, but someone who did it all. And our client was Purina. And so we had this fantastic opportunity to make puppy and kitten content on YouTube, which tends to do really well, but really elevate the storytelling and really find a community for them. And that was sort of the, initial spark that was like, hey, there's something here. And again, this was 13 years ago. And since then, we progressed to more social video,
Right.
but we've always had creators at our core, right? And I think what the most interesting thing that's happened is, when people were looking at creators or influencers, it used to be, here's the big agencies, TV campaign. Can we get some people to post about it? Or can we get them to share a TV commercial? And we were very outspoken from day one, like, hey, this just doesn't work. You have to let creators do their own thing. And so what started off with, just us doing talent became us coming up with campaign ideas, and actually, becoming the full AORs for brands, but creator up versus TV down.
Yeah. And that's interesting because you can walk with confidence in knowing that you built this in the way that it was supposed to be built. As
Exactly.
opposed to trying to shoehorn in. I want to ask you. I mean, I think your top 3 core strengths, obviously. Why don't we run through those, because I do have a lot of questions about about where we sit in all of this right now. But before we get to that, again, every agency has a lot of things that they're great at, but usually 3 rise to the top. And I think you've touched on a couple, but what would you say are the top 3 core strengths?
Yeah, I'd say number one is strategy. Strategy in the context of, in the past 13 years, we've seen the birth of almost every social platform. We've had to develop a rising tactic like creator marketing, with Fortune 100 companies. And we've been able to do that with some of the biggest companies so quickly. And so strategy's always been at our core of, why should you get on TikTok? Why should you work with a
Hmm.
creator? Why should you let a creator, create a product with you? Why should you use a creator video in media? Strategy, I think, has been a secret weapon simply because we've been in a developing industry, right? Because you need to prove and give a client confidence in doing that, right? And
Right.
that's also been along with the innovation that we've driven in the industry. You had to have good strategy to push that innovation and not just do what everybody else is doing and help your clients be a leader.
Right.
I'd say creative is the second one, and I think that's not necessarily just agency-born creative ideas, but it's championing the voice of the creators, right, and their ability. I think we are humble in the fact that the creator talent we work with have amassed huge audiences all on their own for almost no money, and frankly have done a better job than any brand has done building their audience,
Right.
and really championing and empowering their role in the marketing process. And the third thing I'll say, and this stems from my roots at a talent agency, is really just finding the best talent out there. It's not Alex Earl today; it's Alex Earl 5 years ago before she was big,
Mm-hmm.
and really finding the right talent that we know is on their way up, that you can have a long-term partnership with, or the ones that really just deliver because they know how to tell the story in the right way, and they know how to convince their audience, to drive a purchase consideration, but through entertainment, through something actually someone wants to watch.
Right. Before we get into why you love being indie, in marketing, are we over celebritying? If you know what I mean.
I think there's a renaissance, right? I'm a big believer that actually most consumers have extreme distrust of organizations. They trust people,
Yeah. Well,
and
no. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. Yeah.
and look, creators were, I think, the tip of the spear there, and I think celebrities are coming back around and doing it the right way.
Yes.
Creators, celebrities now are, hiring teams to do their own YouTube channels and do their own independent programming,
Yeah.
beyond just posting photos on Instagram. And so I think they've lagged behind, but I don't discount them. And I
No, no,
actually
no, no,
think,
no. No,
yeah,
I know. Right. No, I didn't mean that because listen,
yeah,
there's no bigger Matt Damon fan as it relates to just his shtick and the way
yeah,
I mean, actually anybody from Boston, now that I think about it.
yeah,
I tend to gravitate to the Boston people for some reason, even though I'm sitting here wearing this Eagles hat.
yeah.
No, it is interesting because I think you're right. I think that what's happening is it is that transition phase now where varying levels of sophistication and understanding like, oh, okay, this is the lane I should be in, and I should be doing it myself with my team that I trust. And that makes all the sense in the world. It makes
Exactly.
absolute
And I think it's exciting because you're moving away from, a decade ago where it was a, big TV campaign. The talent showed up for a couple appearances in a shoot day and they were in every TV spot too.
right.
The talent actually working with the brand and really creating something new and co-creating together, which is, creatively what's so exciting and where we're seeing the best results on everything.
Right. My favorite Super Bowl ad, I did mention Matt Damon. So the ad that he did with David Beckham, I think
Oh,
is
it's
just
amazing.
that dude. He's just I love the
Fantastic.
I love the fact that he doesn't take himself so seriously. And it just shows. He's got
I mean, that's the
incredible
endearing part of him, right?
such comedic chops. He's got the chops. Yeah, yeah. All right, let's get back on track here before it turns into the Matt Damon fan club. Uh, why is being indie important to you, and why is it important to your team?
I mean, look, my whole, let's say, marketing services agency career has been as a founder.
Mm,
I worked at a talent agency before, which was very entrepreneurial, and even though they are big teams, um, it was built on the foundation of these really big agents that sort of built their own thing and carved their own path and helped shape the careers for their own talent. And so, call it ignorance is bliss, or when I started this, it was all about being independent, and it was that David and Goliath story of, hey, just this small little agency fighting against these big holding companies.
Mm,
And look, it was really about freedom. It was about our ability to go from a YouTube agency to a social video agency, or hey,
right.
we can also do your social strategy because you should be doing that the same thing, same time as doing an influencer strategy. It was about, for our clients also just seeing a, independent sort of punk rocky, different perspective, that would present bigger, bolder ideas, right? Because we could take those risks and we could do them, and we could do them for a fraction of the cost and a hell of a lot faster. Um,
Right. Right. Yeah. And more fun too.
yes.
I mean, cat and puppy videos, bro. I mean, that's my what is your Instagram feed? I mean, it's dogs, cats. No, it's dogs, horses, kids, and like landscapes. That's it.
I mean, mine, it depends. Look, it's really tough being in this industry
I
because when
was
you're
just gonna
searching,
say,
because
yeah,
when you're
yeah.
searching up talent for
That's good.
for for all different clients, your feed gets screwed up, and
You need
I,
to have
I
a burner feed.
so I was gonna say that is. I don't know if it's widely known, but yeah, a lot of us have a burner account for client research so that you can still have your well curated feed. But mine's mostly like surfing, cars, travel, all that kind of stuff.
I love that. Wait,
Yeah.
cars?
Cars. I love cars.
What do you drive? I'm starting to sound like John Mulaney now. What kind of car you drive?
So like 17 years ago, like I'd saved up some money. I wanted to stop leasing a car. I'm like, what's the coolest car I can get for like 12 grand? And at that
Kia
time,
Rio. No, let's go ahead.
I got a 1980s 911 that I found, and that's my daily driver and still is. So
I mean, this interview's over now. I mean, I can't follow that. That's incredible.
probably the best deal I'll ever get in my life, but I'll take
Gabe,
it.
that's amazing. I love that. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, you should have gotten a Kia Rio, but I'm just saying.
Well, that's for the family car now, but
Right.
my personal car. But yeah.
Right. Rebecca McLean, nay Groff, as we are recording this, says hello. Former colleague
Oh,
of yours.
tell her I said hello.
So we're saying that publicly right now.
Yes, we are.
We touched on why brands should be working with you, but what would you say is the main reason a brand should work with the agency?
Well, look, I think especially in like more developing areas of marketing, marketing has changed and is moving so fast that it just takes so much longer for the bigger holding companies to jump onto it, right? They can buy it where they can buy it through media. They can acquire it once it gets to a certain mature state. But for brands, if they really want to be innovative and be fast, independence are where it's at, right? They're the ones on the cutting edge. They're more specialized and focused versus, being a 360-degree service with, a network. They can go very quick, very deep, and very specialized. And that is so key for marketers today.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think that the other piece of this too, understanding that you have such a pedigree, and such a body of work
Mhm.
that you're probably much more able to articulate things in a way where CMOs and marketers, it's probably a lot of we had no idea, and this is great. So I'm curious what some of those conversations are like, because I think there's a perception that, oh, it's video, but it's like, oh, no, 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 it's all in the nuance. So let's talk about that. I'm curious about what those conversations are like.
Yeah, I mean, look, we do them probably quarterly with, the C-suite at all of our clients. Again, especially since things are moving so quickly.
Right.
But it really is, hey, what's that fringe and what's going to scale, right? And that kind
Mm,
of proven track record, right? When we were telling clients, years ago, hey, there's this platform musically, we think it's going to get big, and then it turns into TikTok.
right.
You earn that over time with our clients, and we've been very fortunate to, stay with our clients for a while. Nestle's still with us 13 years later,
That's
8 years
great.
of Clorox, et cetera. But yeah, you got to earn that over time, right? And it's not too dissimilar from, like, again, what a talent agent does. How do you find that person that's going to have that staying power, right? And
Mhm.
has that true talent. So and that applies to media trends and dynamics, right? Like creators were just creators posting now, but now they're becoming the new media companies. They're becoming the new founders of products and brands. They are flipping the whole script on how to market those brands, right? Which brands better pay attention to, because if you look at any creator brand, the sales of it are usually outweighing their audience. So they're doing something different in the marketing playbook, where when you look at most brands, they're still following their industry's playbook. So
Right.
there's a lot of inspiration there, right? Beyond, what your agency's individually tasked with executing against, and having that broader perspective to help inform those CMOs as they're trying to, again, guide these ever-changing consumer trends and, these even more rapidly changing media dynamics is what they want to hear.
Right. It's true. Let's talk about talent for a little bit.
Yeah.
Whether it is, whether it's freelance talent, whether it's creator talent, whether it's full-time talent, why should they be putting all of you on their list?
Look, I think any indie agency, and I think our principle is we like to treat our team members like entrepreneurs themselves, right? We've had team members who have been with us 10 years. We have people, most people stay with us, which is fantastic, and they've grown with us. And so I think any indie agency, especially ones that are growing, you have such a great opportunity to start a new department, rise up quickly, get to work outside of a very specified silo and see how everything's working, and not just be that sort of cog in the bigger machine. And people love that, right? They like learning, they like the chance for opportunity, and I think it's good for the overall company too. So I think for our employees and our full-time talent, like that's definitely the benefit, and I think it's so mutual. And then, yeah, freelance, whether it's people from traditional advertising, look, we're giving them a chance to learn something new and something maybe like creators. And then the creators we work with, I think what we always aim to do is, when we're doing a partnership, do something bigger, right? Like, not just do what you do, but like, how can we partner together that your audience is going to love, that you can stretch your creative, chops, and also does a great job for the brand as well. So,
yep. Amen. You consider yourselves weirdos, misfits, or underdogs? This is a new question that we threw in, because indies, you might be some variation of all of them.
Yeah. I'd say mostly underdogs, definitely some misfits, sort of challenging, the status quo in current advertising. And then, yeah, depending on the client, we can get some pretty weird sometimes,
I love a good mix. And I think, again, you've been doing this for 13 years, so it makes a lot of sense that you got a little bit of everything. And I think that's great. Our last question: whether they are a current client or not, which CMO or marketer would you like to say hello to?
I think Richard Dixon from who's at Gap right now, came from Mattel. I think he is just absolutely crushing it, right? Taking Gap to where it's been. I've never seen a brand get that culturally relevant so quickly, from a product and design perspective to how they're doing their marketing. I think they're as top as it gets right now.
Yeah, they're sharp. And you're right. Oh my God. All the ups and downs of that brand. Wow.
Yeah. And that's where the real challenge comes. It's easier for, I wouldn't say it's easier, but I think it's more common when you see newer brands, strike lightning. It's a lot harder to do that for the 10th time, in 2 decades,
Yeah. Oh my God. All right. There's a show in that. We got to talk about
There is.
Yeah, we got to talk about that. That's indie thinking. For sure. Gabe, thank you so much for your support of our mission. We really appreciate you joining us. Can't wait to get down to Venice. That's the dirty little secret. Oregon people aren't supposed to like Southern California. So
we're both West Coast. We can agree on that.
I think we can agree on that. All right. Gabe, thank you so much. And best wishes. Keep on keeping on, man.
All right. Thank you, Doug.